MICC to me is knowledge, friends, and unity.
Well, MICC for me
MICC for me,
means
MICC for me is
learning about simple and complex issues in a simple and fun way.
2019, Linus was just a small child going to Poland, and over the past years, so much happened.
Hannah in 2017 was a chaotic but also shy kid who very much had big dreams but no idea how to achieve them.
Great, so I was a high school student. I was 18 years old when I participated with the MICC high school program, and I was a student who didn't really know from the beginning what to study.
So Martina in 2016 was an anxious high school student. I remember my year, I was probably the youngest one, so I was very excited and interested in all that stuff, but really, had no clue what to do.
MICC for me was a key to unlock the doors that I wasn't sure were there, so it opened a whole new world for me.
My name is Tekla, and when MICC started, it was 2023 for me, and I was a university student of first year actually. It was my first year in law. I studied law in Tbilisi State University, and right now I'm on my third year. So then after 2023 sessions, I was at 2024 sessions in Kreisau, MICC University, and I have taken part in just now Toolbox seminar in Berlin as well.
Nadira Churulia is a still young person from Bosnia and Herzegovina, specifically from Sarajevo. I call myself now a peace builder because peace is something that I have resonated well with as my mission to actually, bring it more to light and to understanding. So my main thing now is that I work with young people. I work in peace building, reconciliation, dealing with the past, intercultural learning and dialogue.
I would think of the 2024 session actually at MICC University. I had a great opportunity to be a trainee of the university students that I believed were some of them, and most of them were quite more informed and qualified in some of the aspects of law than me. And I had to take part in the mood processes as well. So it was a really big challenge for me because I kind of had something to prove to myself and the community around me, even though they were rooting so hard for me. And that was the time when I really proved something to myself, that maybe I don't have to overlook the achievements or some kind of actions that I take. And I really felt like I really belonged in the place that I was in, which is something that MICC always makes me feel that I belong.
Interestingly enough, for me, there was a lot of lessons I've learned, but something which was a transforming experience for me was entering the bus in Slavonski Brod. Why? Because in this bus, all of a sudden you have people coming from Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, and Croatia. Now, have in mind, I'm at the time 18. I've grown up in Bosnia and Herzegovina. I've heard a lot of narratives. I had this luck that I didn't have prejudice towards people from these countries, but I was aware what was being talked about. And I remember my fear was, and this is interesting because I think people from Serbia and Croatia will also remember this, that my fear was, will they want to hang out with me because I know the stories I heard, and I'm assuming they heard identical stories just from a different perspective. And I remember this moment, so we're sitting in the back of the bus and all of a sudden a large group is entering the bus as well. And we're all being seated together, and there's firstly a silence, like very uncomfortable silence because you don't know what a conversation starter should be. But then it just became natural for us to start talking, introducing to each other. And this is at the border between Bosnia and Herzegovina and Croatia. And then we're going with the bus towards Poland. And already in Hungary, we were singing together different songs that we all know, talking about random things, bonding over our very long trip. And I think just that was the beginning of a big transformation within myself, because I finally see these people and I'm meeting these people that I've heard so much about. And then I came back 7 days later having very close friends who I'm friends with up to this day, and understanding that, hey, you cannot generalize any people. Like, everyone's a person individually, and these people from Zagreb and Belgrade became my closer friends than I would ever imagine.
Every problem and every aspect of the ICC that is incredibly important stays relevant to this day. Human rights, transnational justice will always be relevant, because human rights is the one value that will really never fade. That's why I think MICC is and will stay relevant after many, many years as well.
I believe MICC remains relevant and needed even after 20 years, because unfortunately we're still living in a state of war with many conflicts and ongoing atrocities and issues in the sphere of human rights and just transitional justice. And I think it's important to just give us a moment to understand why. Because as young people, we're not empowered to think about these topics. This is a great model simulation where you're put in a position to think about it. And it's not only giving you these 4 cases to think about. You come home and you start thinking about everything. And you start approaching more critically everything which is happening. And I honestly believe it's a method, even if we were really living in an ideal world, it should continue, because we need to more and more rationalize everything, understand everything, so that we, maybe as active citizens, can also contribute to the society becoming better.
The one thing that every person should know is what their fundamental rights are. So when there is a breach in that, they can actually act very effectively on that. And the second is that generally when people come from the communities that really need a big part of civic engagement and activism to actually be a responsible citizen, as you need as well as the motivation, but a really great civic education.
Meanwhile, this is a lot more personal. Like, it has that moment of not only learning but also experiential learning. So you're not learning just something as an information, you're also experiencing something. And I think that topics like justice and human rights are something which are much, much more personal, because in every context of every society, unfortunately, there's still different issues within human rights. And actually having the space to open these topics, to see different perspectives, to understand different perspectives, and to try to find solutions, even if maybe we're not the ones empowered to make these solutions. But in that moment, you feel like you can change the world.
What MICC offers is an incredibly distinctive and really informative information that can really shape your international outlook on the events. So before, I really looked at the global policy-making processes from only a very small perspective. Just as a Georgian, as a student, as a school child, a student as well. So right now I am way more informed about everything that is behind the steps that people take.
The thing that happens now with young people is that we're not given a role of participation. Like, the participation of young people is simply replicate the knowledge that we give you, and that's it. Meanwhile, here, you're given a chance to participate and actually have the power to do something. And I think it's very important for young people to understand that they have a role, they have a voice, because at some point we become adults, and then it's expected of us to do all of these things that we're not thought to do during our process of upbringing as a child and young person. So I think it's also something that we can carry home.
And after 2 years, I'm owning my own company. that I'm making videos, editing, I'm making websites. So I can say even that MICC became like a huge step like for me, the start from my career. So that's how my life changed.
I would say I'm totally into law now. I want to study international law, and that's what I decided since I've been to MICC. So my future is certain now.
So Kaya 3 years ago was a 17-year-old who was still in high school figuring some stuff out. And Kaya today is a 21-year-old law student who is still figuring some stuff out. But MICC actually gave me like a little insight on what I want to do in my life and what I want to study and what I want to specialize in one day.
After MICC, I recognized, oh no, there's a world of people who actually care and want to change it. And not just that, but I get to be a part of it. So after MICC, it was like what I started to do was figuring out, okay, how do I actually get to be a part of changing the world? How do I actually do more? How do I help encourage and build people up? Because that's what happened. I was encouraged, I was built up, I was excited, people wanted to hear who I was and learn about me. And I was like, okay, how do I do that now? Which led after MICC to actually go into the ministry, to go into the church, because I felt like it's a place I could actually build people up, but I would have never done it without it. I would have never actually choose a field of work that focused on people.
One of the greatest accidental decisions I've made in my life.
MICC was a path of discovering a new Christina.
Thank you so much.
Yay!